Very much. Now this is a father of a Parkland shooting victim, Elena Petty. Ryan Petty is joining us right now. He is not at any of these events. He understands and supports what the kids are trying to do, but doesn't think that this is the way to go about it. Mr. Petty, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
How are you and your family doing these days?
Well, we're still having a rough time. We miss our daughter Elena. She was such a integral part of our family. We love her very much and we miss her. The mornings are very, very difficult for us, getting her ready to go to school and just being with her. We miss her a lot.
That's an understatement, and I'm sure I didn't want to put you in a tough position, sir, as a dad, but I did want to get a sense of why you are not at any of these rallies going on around the country. You had said, well, you understood what a lot of these kids are trying to do. There might be smarter ways to go about it. Could you explain that?
Sure. I appreciate the passion and the energy that's being displayed today, and I considered participating, but my concern from the beginning has been, after every mass shooting, after every school shooting, we inevitably head down the path of an argument over the Second Amendment and gun control, and it's a legislative road to nowhere, in my opinion. And so I stepped back. We talked with legislators here in Florida. We talked with the governor. Governor Scott put a very good proposal in front of the state, in front of the legislators here. It was something that could be passed in a bipartisan fashion. And I'm happy to say, I'm pleased to say, in 3 weeks we got the bill passed in record time, including what some would call new gun control measures, which were the first time in 22 years in the state of Florida any new gun restrictions have been passed. So we did it, but we did it by being inclusive. We did it by finding common ground. We did it by trying to push a bipartisan agenda, and we've had some success. And building on that, we've now got 2 new laws passed in the U.S. Congress, 3 laws in 5 weeks. The Fix NICS Act was signed into law by President Trump yesterday, and the Stop School Violence Act. And so we're very pleased with the progress we've made, and I think it's a testament to trying a different way.
You know, sir, you talked about the rapid changes that were made in Florida after this, which surprised a lot of folks, Democrats and Republicans, gun control advocates, those who aren't such big advocates of that alike. A lot of the kids protesting, a lot of their parents who are with them, want to see that kind of thing on nationwide. And they have mentioned that raising the age at which you can get some of these assault rifles, like an AR-15 to 21, as was advocated and pushed for and approved in Florida, would be a good thing to have nationwide. And that's what many of them are rallying for around the country. What do you think of that?
Well, I think there are some common sense things we can do. Without getting into the specific issues, I would say our focus has been twofold. One is, what can we do to protect our children and teachers in school? What are the measures that we can take to improve security? There were clearly lapses in security in Parkland that need to be addressed. And the state of Florida's set up a commission to study school safety, and we'll make some recommendations. 3 of the fathers from Parkland are on that commission, and so we're going to take a look at what can we do to improve the security of our schools and our children and teachers while they're at school. Number 2, what are the things we can do to keep guns away from people that shouldn't have them? Nationally, they're called red flag laws. In Florida, we called it a risk protection order. Risk protection orders have been used 3 times already in the state of Florida, including earlier this week where a student at University of Central Florida had made some threats against the school, and law enforcement was able to go in and remove firearms from that student. And who knows, perhaps they averted more school violence. So those are the things we're focused on legislatively.
Mr. Petty, as a dad, and you lost your beautiful daughter, and when you heard afterwards that while Elena and others were getting gunned down, an armed officer who was supposed to be in the school was outside. And you talked about these other slip-ups that occurred. How did you feel about all that?
Well, I'm heartbroken. The most sacred trust we have as parents is protecting our children. And we sent Elena to school that day, to a school we thought was safe, with a school resource officer present. We thought she would come home that evening, and she didn't. So we've learned a powerful lesson this past few weeks. We have to be more involved as parents. We need information from the school district. We need information from law enforcement. We need to be part of the equation in determining what threats are present at our schools, and we need to be able to protect our kids. Ultimately, it's our responsibility to do that. We need to be in the loop and part of that discussion and part of that process.
What's amazing about you, and I'm telling you this as a fellow dad, is the lack of petty anger or justifiable anger, in my case, on your part, and your willingness to seek understanding of those who are either alienated at schools or feel that they could be. You had written not too long ago that instead of walking out of school, encourage students to walk up to the kid who sits alone at lunch, invite him to sit with your group, walk up to the kid who sits quietly in the corner of the room and sit next to her, smile and say hi, walk up to the kid who causes disturbances in class and ask how he's doing, walk up to your teachers and thank them, walk up to someone who has different views than you and get to know them. There's a lot of anger going on out there, and I've urged a lot of people who have not read what you wrote to do so. But you say, build on a foundation instead of casting stones. I challenge students to find 14 students and 3 adults to walk up to and say something nice and honor those who died in Florida, referring to the 17 who died, including your beautiful daughter. Was that hard for you to do? Hard for you to write? Hard for you to get over this sense of, I have a vendetta, I'm angry, I want there to be payback?
The criminal process will play itself out, and my family is very involved in that, as are the other families. So that I have faith that will work through. What I was trying to say with the walk up, by promoting walk up and trying to encourage that, is some things I learned in D.C. last week from the Secret Service. There are 6 characteristics of these school shooters. One of them is that they tell other people about what their plans are and what they want to do, and that was certainly the case here in Parkland. What I'm hoping to do with Walk Up is change the culture in our schools so that the students aren't afraid to talk about when they hear something. They're encouraged to say something, and hopefully the adults will do something. That's my message with Walk Up. I do think we need to improve the culture in our schools. We do need to be more inclusive and kind. And ultimately, changing the culture will actually improve the safety of our schools. And that's why I'm promoting that. I believe that's a longer lasting solution than just simply marching one day and then moving on.
Ryan Petty, you're a remarkable dad. You clearly have a remarkable daughter.
Yeah.
And you're a remarkable man. I cannot imagine your pain, but thank you very much for joining.
Thank you. Thank you.
Will Marcus.